Please don't go, I need you so I'm begging Seal to play. Please don't go, I
Hi,
need you.
my name is Stephanie Patel. Welcome to Conversations with Steve. Steve is the sole identity of the man you knew as Steve Jobs. Still considers himself very much to be Steve Jobs and to be a man who lived on Earth until about 10 years ago. His energy, eventually, he took his energy to heaven. And from there, he has been a good vibration on what we call hearth. Hearth is between heaven and earth, and you might think of it as those in heaven lowering their vibration and those on earth raising their vibration so we can connect and communicate. I communicate with Steve telepathically. I met him about 6 years ago. Uh, After he had passed, we connected and have had many adventures and quite a story, ongoing story for 6 years. So I now communicate with him and many, many others telepathically. We have conversations weekly, roundtable conversations between hearth and earth, or you might say between heaven and earth on hearth, um, with earthside participants and participants in heaven. These conversations are designed to be with Steve, who has a very strong interest in communicating with people on Earth, and he will explain more as we go. This is a demonstration video. It is a demonstration of the kinds of conversations that Steve and I regularly have. You can have conversations with him too. I will just be the one who translates his input. We had a little fun making this video. But what I did want to do is show you the method that we use now. We've had telepathic communication since we connected 6 years ago and been on many astral adventures and a lot of connection. However, about 5 or 6 months ago, I started using a pendulum because sometimes I would have a little difficulty getting words or maybe misinterpreting something that was said. And the pendulum helps me to get accuracy. It's basically, I consider it pretty much 100% accurate because if I don't get it accurate, I'm told you got it wrong and I'll go back and fix it. And I'm going to give a little demonstration here of how the pendulum works. So you can see it, and then you'll be able to participate in a conversation that Steve and I have. So this is something where those who would like to participate in a conversation can do so. So if you'd like to, just contact me and we'll set something up. Thank you. So Steve is here to demonstrate how this works. So he's circling to show me he's here. This also indicates to me that I've gotten things right. So normally we communicate telepathically. So we just use the pendulum as kind of an aid. And so it usually goes a lot faster than he's going to go today. But I'm going to ask him to spell something out very simply, which he's agreeing to do. And show if I get something wrong, what do you do? Go around the other way, counterclockwise. Could you bring the pendulum to a standstill, please? Okay, Steve, if you would spell something out very simply, that would be great. A P P L E apple A N D, and, M, E, A, R, E, Apple and me are S, Y, N, O, N, Y, M, O, U, S. Thank you very much, Steve, for that little demonstration. So as I said, we we communicate telepathically, and so we do use the pendulum to validate things, and so when we want to share with other people, um, to make sure it's accurate. So we lose a little bit in speed. It's not usually, he doesn't have to spell everything out. Just let me know. He goes very quickly, skip words, whatever, and just spell out things to make sure I'm on track. And we lose a little bit in speed, however, but I think we make it up in accuracy. And so I hope you will bear with the fact that some of my translations are a little bit slower than normal speech, but it's worth it. Hi, Steve. Hi, Steph. Can you change the lighting a little bit? I would like to have my beard accentuated because I'm very proud of it. It has been a while growing, and I want everyone to know how great it is to be able to live a life of leisure on Hearth, where I reside in a little cabin on a lake, and wait for you with a bouquet of roses just to tell you how much I love you. And when we get done with this little demonstration, I want to invite you to meet me at our secret place on Hearth, where we will have a candlelit dinner and enjoy some time together. Well, Steve, I'm already eating. So I don't think I'm going to be. See, I'm eating nachos and avocado. Avocado dip. Love it. Yeah, I might have to postpone our dinner then till tomorrow. However, we can skip the dinner and just get to the good stuff if you want. Steve, the dinner is the good part. It's not a quid pro quo. I know. I'm just teasing you. Okay, you want to get on with this interview thing? Well, not interview, dialogue. I don't think we're going to call it an interview, okay? Sounds good to me. I'm good vibration on dialogue because the purpose of dialogue is to share. I have a lot to share, and I invite anyone who wants to come and share with me, because through dialogue, we will begin to close the gap between here and there, and everybody can join in the circle of love, and we can get a little more clarity on the differences between heaven and earth and understand how we can heal the gap so people aren't so surprised when they die to find out they didn't die after all. They're still alive and kicking, and most of them are smiling because they're like, oh my God, it turned out to be a fantasy world. It's much better than they told me it would be. I'm very happy here and don't want to go back to Earth. So if you take me back there, you're just going to have to drag me kicking and screaming because every time I go to Earth, I get so sad and depressed. And in the end, it's like, please, God, take me out of here because I've had enough. At least that's the way it was for me. Okay, Steve, you're starting to get really depressing. I know. So, what do you want to talk about? I don't know. What do you got on your agenda? I think we should talk about you. About me. We're both be talking about you and your wonderful life in the afterlife. Not also wonderful, because I did have a hard trip to figure things out, because I had pretty bad vibration on death and wasn't prepared to find out I wasn't dead after all. I was still alive and kicking, and unfortunately, I was kicking all alone because nobody knew I was still alive. And a good week passed before I realized I was dead, but I was just hallucinating or something. All these people were acting as if I was dead. And then finally it dawned on me that maybe I really was dead, and that when you're dead, you're not really dead, you're still alive. And that was a shocker because I didn't really expect to still be alive after I was dead. And anyway, that's a long story, which we can get into by and by. So how are you doing today? I'm fine. Just eating my nachos and avocado. You want some? Not really, because I'm a picky eater. And if the chips have any stuff in them that's not approved by me in the Steve Jobs book of dietary restrictions, then I don't think I want them. And did you make the guacamole? No, Steve, I bought it. And how do you know what's in it? It says it on the list of ingredients. Well, after all this time, you're still alive, even though you do crappy stuff like drink milk and stuff. So I assume it might not be as bad as I thought it was. However, if I could do it again, I would still have a healthy diet, but I wouldn't be so restrictive in what I ate because I get it that a lot of it has to do with your attitude towards what you're eating. If you think it's good for you, probably will be. Think it's bad for you, probably will be. And so I would be a lot more careful about what I ate. Cool. I'm going to take another bite, so I have to shut up for a minute. And I hope all those people out there that are And watch this. If we're going to use it as a demonstration video, won't mind that I'm eating. There. So, Steve, what is it that you would like to say? Because you said you had a whole bunch you'd like to say to people. And I've been listening to you for 6 years, so I've heard a whole bunch of stuff from you, and I assume a lot of it is what you want to say to people. And you'd like to hear what they think, right? Steve says, if he gets a chance to talk to people on Earth, he's going to tell them the best story of all, which is that in paradise, there are 3 options that he knows of, and they're all good choices. You can go to Earth and be in paradise. You can go to Hearth and be in paradise. And you can go to heaven and be in paradise. And you can be in paradise on Mars, actually, and Venus. And if you want to try some of those far-flung planets, you can do that too. And you don't even have to take a jacket, because you're always warmly received in paradise, and there's nothing to fear, and you won't be left out in the cold. So if you want to join me in paradise, please accept this invitation, and don't expect it to be engraved, because I don't have an engraving machine. And anyway, I told somebody once that I hated those engraving machines because they really took the fun out of calligraphy, which is a very, very old art, and one that we should all treat with great respect, because if it weren't for calligraphy, we would be a little bit calcified in our written works, because a good calligrapher is a good vibration on originality, because there's no 2 letters that are ever formed exactly the same, although there's might be an effort to do so. And that means that's sort of like life in general. We can stamp kids out of our schools like little automatons that are all matching in their abilities and their motivations, or we can take a little time to give them the room to be a little bit more individualistic. And that's why I'm a good vibration on calligraphy. And respect for the individuality of every single one of us. Thanks, Steve, because that was really, really well said, I think, but I'm a little bit prejudiced. I'm not sure if I should be happy with that comment or not. Does that mean you are giving me a break and seeing me as wonderful even when I'm mediocre? Or does it mean you want to give me a kiss? If you can find a way to do that through this beautiful beard of mine that I'm flaunting, and I'm sorry that you have not adjusted the light so everyone can see it, but we'll just have to make do because I realize that the lighting there is limited and not as bright as it is here. And therefore, I'll have to accept the fact that a lot of people will not know that I look really, really good and handsome and desirable to anybody who cares to take a look. And I'm not the way I was before I died of a very, very, very bad vibration on cancer. And essentially took my own life because in the end, we all take our own life. We all decide where we're going, when, why, how, etc., etc. We just do it in stages. And so we don't really put it all together till we get to this side and we go, oh, that's why that happened. Oh, that's why that happened. And then we say, well, be more careful next time. And then next time we make the same damn mistakes all over again. And I made mine. I'm not denying it. I was a bad vibration on life on earth most of my life because I had a secret. And I'm not going to tell what the secret was because we have already talked about it. And it's going to come out in the book that's going to be published. So I don't want to give it away because then people won't read the book. And if they don't read the book, we won't make money. And if we don't make money, we won't have enough money to make more money so that we can publish more books. And if we can't publish more books, then we can't reach more people. And if we can't reach more people, then we will have to make do with the ones we do reach and hope that there are good vibrations on sharing and tell other people to come and take a look at this spectacle of Stephen P. Jobs acting like an asshole on this video so that he can have fun. Because actually, I'm just having a good time with you, Steph. And that's the most fun of all, is that in the end, we just have a good time, don't we? We do have a good time, Steve. Gotta take a bite of chips and guacamole with big avocado chunks in it. But avocados are something I really like in my old age. So I don't know if it's something that specifically targets old cells that are tired and sleepy and just want to rest. And says, here's a little boost for you because we know you're tired, but you got to keep going as long as you can, or you call it quits. If I were not so dead and gone, I would be a good vibration, I think, on sharing a little meal with you and telling you how to improve your diet. I would be sure and bring my notes and explain to you how terrible your diet is and why you need to change it and how you're going to die before you're 60, even though you're already 71. And the one who died before he was 60 was such a good vibration on what he put into his body that he didn't realize that what he was putting into his body was more lethal than milk, the worst food ever produced by any cow in the history of cowdom. So let me explain. There is something we all eat every day, and it is our beliefs, and that includes our fears, because fears are a product of our belief. And if we have beliefs that are bad for us, we probably shouldn't eat them. And if we have beliefs that are okay for us and kind of nutritious, we'll probably get by. And if we have beliefs are to be treated with disdain because they corrupt our energetic system, then we'll probably be a little bit corrupted. And if we don't have any beliefs at all, then we will not have any nutrition at all. We'll be starved to death. So the key is to hold your beliefs gently, like your children, and enjoy them and not become enslaved by them. That's my formula. What do you think of it? Not bad. I didn't quite get that part about if your belief is that you should get rid of your beliefs or something. What are you talking about? Beliefs? Believing that you shouldn't believe anything is like saying that you are unable to live life as a human being, because we all form beliefs in order to structure our life experience. And so if we have a belief that we shouldn't have beliefs, we're kind of screwed. But if we hold our beliefs tenderly, then we are like good parents who understand that their children will grow without them, and they just have to send them on their way with lots of love and affection. And if we have bad beliefs that we think are inevitable, we will be stuck with them. And if we have beliefs that God decides if we are good or bad, like Santa Claus, and leaves us with toys or lumps of coal in our stocking, then that's about the way to go, because our beliefs are the skeletal structure of our life experience. How's that? Pretty good. Pretty good indeed. Okay, Steve. So I'm thinking of something really wonderful that we can talk about. So you want to talk about your life? Everybody wants to know. Steve Jobs, does he ever talk about all the innovation? Does he ever talk about this and that and the others? And like, not like 50 books have been written about everything you did and everything you thought about. So do you want to talk about that or not? I know for a long time you didn't want to talk about Apple because it was painful. Very, very painful. Even to hang around there and hear the things that people would say. So why don't you talk about Apple? You are really pushing me toward a bad vibration on open communication because it pisses me off royally when people say, Steve Jobs, what does he say about the latest version of the iPhone? And I want to say to them, stick that damn iPhone in your mouth and shut up. Because, whoa, Steve, hold on. All right, sorry about that. You're going off about people who ask about the latest version of the iPhone. If they think my role in the afterlife is to sit and do reviews of the various digital devices that have been coming out in the last 10 years, and then they have a very dim view of me and who I am. I'm not a technology guru whose job is to sit around and examine all the latest hardware and software and tell you what to get and what not to get and what's wrong with this and what's right with that. I am a man on hearth with a heart and soul full of love for humanity. And I got far better things to do than write articles for some consumer mag about the pros and cons of various apps and devices. So get your head out of your asses, people, because I had to get mine out of mine and realize that everyone has their own perspective on life and what other people, and what matters to other people, as if they are sitting in the driver's seat on the bus and controlling who sits where and what scenery they get to view. I'm not on your bus. I'm on foot right now, and I'll be happy to talk to you about my life, my thoughts, my experiences before I died and after. But I'm not going to tell you how I feel or what I think about the latest version of the iPhone or any of the products that are put out by Apple. I'm not going to give you an assessment of how the current management of Apple is doing, other than to say they're doing what they're doing the very best they can, which is what we're all doing. So let's get that out of the way right off the bat. And then if you want to ask me questions like, why did I feel so strongly about technology, personal computer, changing the world, da 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 da, I'll be happy to talk to you about it. But I'm not going to be your pocket guide to consumer products. Thanks for listening and for failing to slam the door in my face if you're still here, because all you wanted from me was something I don't have to give. What I do have to give is far more valuable if you want to take the time to sit, listen, talk, share. I'm interrupting this video because as we were editing it, Steve wanted to clarify something. He misstated it when he said he's a bad vibration on open communication in giving his assessment of products. He's said he would give assessments of products with which he was familiar. However, he's not been keeping up with development and new products and new applications since he died. In other words, he's not watching it from the afterlife. So, with that caveat, we will continue. All right, Steve, I'm going to quit this right now. Let you go. And are you happy? Your energy is very vibrant tonight, which means that you don't really give a damn who hears this or who listens to it and what they think of it. And tell you the truth, Steph, that's what I like best, is when we are just having fun and we don't give a damn. We're just playing. And people can join in or not. But in the end, if you can't get a good vibration on having fun, if you get too serious, then forget it, because it ain't ever going to go anywhere. If you're not happy with who you are and what you're doing, you better find another job and another partner in life. And I found mine, and I'm pretty content with her, and I hope she's content with me. Most of the time, till you get me pissed off, and then I want to slap you in the face. But most of the time, I like you pretty well, and we get along pretty well. And even when we don't, it's kind of fun, because it's always challenging and never boring. And that always reminds me that you once promised me early in our relationship that you would not bore me. And so far, so good. Nearly 6 years and counting. And we probably need to have an anniversary party on October 14th, because then it will be 6 years since we connected. And there may be other anniversaries that we need to celebrate too, but we could do that one. And I know you got a death date coming up, when you died and everybody forgot about you and thought you were gone, and you weren't, and you were pissed because they thought you were gone. And of course, you were pissed, even though you treated people who died the same damn way. And I'm sorry, people out there who might listen to this and hear me say damn, because I didn't used to talk quite that bad or say fuck or anything. And that's all Steve's fault. And I think you should blame him and tell him to clean up his potty mouth and stop being such a bad vibration on me. I gotta hand it to you, Steph. You always manage to make me look bad. And I don't know if I can look any worse than I did in some of the movies and books that are out there, because I look pretty bad. And now I'm just a good vibration on happy heart. And so if people don't like me, they don't like me, because I like myself and you like me. And that's what matters to me. So happy day to you. Let's go offline and we will have our own little get together. How about that? Sounds good, Steve. See you later, alligator. See you soon, you big baboon. That's kind of like me saying, okay, if you're going to monkey around, I am going to fall asleep and not be a very good vibration on nightcap. So you'll have to just put a nightcap on me and kiss me goodnight, and I'll see you in the morning in that case. But I'd rather you didn't monkey around all night. Okay? Okay, Steve. Bye. So it goes with Steve. And you might as well know what it's like.